unrelated clip, even though you are looking for something very specific. Hello, it's time for me, Chatter, to come back and show you a completely unrelated clip.
Brittney Spears. I called you earlier, but I'm calling you.
Bro, this is a movie, dude. This is like literally a movie.
Because I just wanted to make sure during the process of ending the conservatorship that my father, Brittney, several times had, still take my children away. I just want to be guaranteed that everything will be fine with the process.
Amid a media frenzy, the 26-year-old pop star was brought by ambulance to a Los Angeles hospital.
Bro, she's 26, bro. I mean, I'll admit it, like, this is more compelling than Tenet. Like, straight up, like, this is actually better than Tenet. Dude, look at this! That is so psychotic, dude. What the fuck?
Despite every aspect of Brittney's personal life being put on display and picked apart in 2007, Brittney was dealing with even more behind the scenes that the public and media didn't know about. A very concerning alleged leaked email between Brittney and her attorney Gary Stifelman was released, giving us a glimpse into why Brittney was so paranoid and struggled to trust anyone, including her own family, that year. The email from July of 2007 reads, "Gary, since you are my lawyer, even though I don't know if you're really trying to protect me or not, but there's this crazy lady, Lou Taylor, that has been sending stuff to my house. How did she get my address, and why can't you stop her? I don't know her. She is a stalker. She is really terrifying me and my babies. If she knows where I live, then she can just show up here. She sent me a pink hat, and she is writing letters like she is my mother. She has been stalking me since Malibu, and it needs to stop because I don't have security. And Sam refuses to stay over every night because he has 1,000 dogs to go feed, and I have my babies in London, and she keeps saying I'm possessed and that she needs to come and kill these spirits."
What is happening? What is happening? What? This is taking a very weird turn, dude. Hold me, chat. What the fuck is going on, dude? Why? Bro, this is a roller coaster of emotions. Like the highs, the lows, the unfathomable injustice. From top to bottom, this is a masterpiece that deliberately and carefully and clearly documents a person's descent into such horrific circumstances.
She told me, she said, "Brittney, go to the light. Go to the light and see Jesus, okay?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna do it." And I did it. And it happened. And it was just so weird because our world is so nice.
We told her 1,000,000 times to leave me alone, and now she's saying she's going to visit my drunk father in Kentwood. I don't care about him, but she could easily find my mother and hurt her. What am I supposed to do when Sam is not here? I'm scared. Can you call him and tell him how important it is that he needs to stay here every night? Because it's like no one is listening to me. And now she sent me pictures of her and a man and butterflies. She is really crazy. Do you care if I'm dead? Because I cannot sign your checks if I am. Your client, Brittney Jean Spears.
What the fuck
A fan
is
of
this?
Brittney's posted the email recently on Instagram calling Lou Taylor Brittney's stalker. Lou Taylor decided to respond to this fan, basically confirming the email is real, but stating Brittney was not the one who wrote it. Lou said, "Do you know she did not write the email? Did you look at her post? Seriously, you all are out of control." Then Lou said, "Did you know twice in court under oath, Sam Lutfi admitted to writing the emails? Seriously." Sam would then immediately send Lou a cease and desist, stating Lou defamed him. Lou saying he admitted to writing that email is false, demanding Lou immediately and permanently delete these comments. And Lou did just that. She deleted every comment that mentioned Sam. The fears outlined in that email that Lou Taylor, Brittney's alleged stalker, would begin to weasel her way into Brittney's family would come true. By the end of 2007, Lou would be representing both Lynn Spears and Jamie Lynn.
What the fuck? What is happening? What is happening? Why is this allowed, dude?
As the roughest year of Brittney Spears' life comes to
Okay, this part has to, like, these are Britney stans, so there has to be more to this than just the way that they're describing it. It literally does not make sense. Bro, what happened? Like, did Britney Spears fucking make a wish into a monkey's paw or something? Like, she just was like, I want to be the most famous person on the planet. And then boom, the monkey's paw crumbles and it's over. It's a wrap. Like, you are going to be one of the most famous and richest people on the planet. But for the rest of your life, you're fucked. Like, everyone is going to exploit you. Everyone's going to abuse you. Everyone's going to shit on you. Non-fucking stop. Someone one time said this whole situation is QAnon for gays. I mean, it would be QAnon for gays if it wasn't like well-documented shit.
a close, 2008 begins with even more hardships. A battered Brittney Spears is heading into yet another rough year, and Brittney didn't know it yet, but her days as a free woman were numbered. Just one day after New Year's Day, Trope and Trope, Brittney's custody attorneys, filed to be relieved of duty and left her hanging just before her deposition with Kevin's lawyer relating to her grueling, ongoing custody battle. And just one day later was the beginning of a saga of Brittney involuntarily turning over her freedom. On January 3rd, after being questioned by Kevin's lawyers, Brittney retreated to her gated community, The Summit, where her sons were there with a court-appointed monitor for their regular visit. However, hordes of paparazzi were waiting to capture every moment of Brittney's private life, even in her gated community. And about 6.5 hours pass with her kids, and it's time for them to go back to Kevin, and for Brittney to once again be alone with her thoughts and no children to take care of. But just as Kevin's security team arrives to pick up her boys and take them back to his house, they immediately realize there is a major problem, as Brittney's assistant, Carla, is making up excuses for Brittney not immediately turning the children over. Sean was taken out of the house and into the car by the court-appointed monitor before Brittney locked herself in her home with Jaden. And just 1 hour later, police are notified and officers arrive by the monitor, who is still locked outside of the house. But the monitor doesn't have the paperwork to grant them entry into the locked house. At this point, Brittney had locked herself in the house with Jaden for 2 hours and 20 minutes. And Kevin's attorney shows up with the proper paperwork to grant the police entry. And just like that, a drove of police cars enter Brittney's gated community. More than 12 police officers, 2 ambulances, and several fire trucks are stationed outside of Brittney's home. At this point, Brittney's cousin and friend, Allie Sims, and her assistant, Carla, are both outside of the house, leaving Brittney entirely alone with Jaden. And just over an hour later, Brittney is removed from her home and strapped to a gurney, but not before the media arrives on the scene.
Amid a media frenzy, the 26-year-old pop star was brought by ambulance to a Los Angeles hospital from her Beverly Hills home. Another chapter in her long-running custody battle with ex-husband Kevin Federline over their 2 sons. As this video provided by Entertainment Tonight and The Insider shows, Spears was taken by stretcher into the emergency room. Her husband, Federline, was at the hospital when she arrived.
.com is reporting that Brittney was taken out of her home on a gurney by paramedics. And
Bro, you know what this reminds me of? Have you ever seen like stories of parents? It's like actually a disease, like it's a mental health issue, a mental disorder, where like parents will sometimes like poison their children to make them, what is it called? Munchausen's. Yeah, Munchausen's. Like where parents will somehow like sometimes poison their children to make them more dependent. Munchausen by proxy. Okay, yeah. It's like it feels like that, but it's a mental health problem in which a caregiver makes up causes an illness or injury in a person under his or her care, such as a child, elderly adult, person who has a disability, because vulnerable people are the victims. It's a form of child abuse or elder abuse, right? Like, I feel like what her parents were doing to her is kind of like that. It's kind of like that, but just for like constantly keeping her under lock and key and like and just abusing her and also creating a cycle where like she's dependent on them for caregiving.
That she is now being taken to a local hospital on what's being called a medical hold, essentially a mental evaluation.
At this point, Brittney Spears is on her way to the hospital, escorted in an ambulance by 13 police cars under blue light sirens. And at 12:30 a.m., Jaden is taken in a separate ambulance to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where Kevin Federline and Mark Vincent Kaplan are waiting in the emergency room. Sam Lutfi even followed the ambulance to the hospital and was initially denied entrance. And just 45 minutes later, Jamie Spears, Brittney's father, arrived on the scene. This was a big deal as the two hadn't seen each other in approximately 8 months, after her father sided with Larry Rudolph during their falling out and called Brittney a sick little girl to the media. It was reported that Brittney would be on monitored observation for at least 72 hours. Now, more recently, we've gained even more insight into the situation, as a letter allegedly written by Brittney Spears in the third person was leaked to the public by a photographer, where Brittney explains no one knows the truth. Her behavior when her children got taken away because of her locking herself in the bathroom is understandable, considering her friend at the door kept telling her the cops are leaving, don't worry, stay in the bathroom. She was lied to and set up. Her children were taken away and she did spin out of control, which any mother would in those circumstances. And just a few days after the incident, Lou Taylor got involved and allegedly convinced Brittney's father to have Dr. Phil go to Cedars-Sinai to see Brittney and convince her to stay in treatment. And Dr. Phil did end up going.
Bro, this Lou Taylor, every time she gets brought up, it's like the music. And I don't know if the music is guiding my feelings of her or if she's just like straight up the biggest villain here that I did not even know existed. Also, what the fuck is Dr. Phil doing here? Oh my God.
Going and speaking to Brittney. But as soon as he did, he went against the
He's such a fucking clout shark, dude. He's literally the biggest clout demon.
Family's wishes and released a public statement to the media saying that Brittney will be doing a taping about the entire situation. The entire Spears family was feeling betrayed, and Lou Taylor, who'd conveniently snuck into the position of Spears family spokesperson, spoke to the media saying,
"What's wrong with Dr. Phil's statement is that he made a statement. The family basically extended an invitation of trust for him to come in as a resource to support them, not to go out and make public statements."
This isn't the only time Lou Taylor has snuck her way into a young and vulnerable celebrity's life, as she also attempted to take control over Lindsay Lohan in 2010. After bailing her out of jail,
Lou Taylor came into Lindsay's life as a knight in shining armor.
Wait, so is this Lou Taylor person like, is this what she does? Like, how is there not a movie about her? Because someone is saying... Like, look at this, dude. Every child actor and like every person that's been vilified, Lou Taylor is right there. Like, I feel like she is the business manager for people that you want to admit, like people who want a 5150. She manages the fucking Prince estate, dude. She literally manages the Prince estate. Always going to involve her clients in more asset appreciating businesses. or a personal liquor brand. Her client roster includes Steven Tyler, Mary J. Blige, Sean Diddy Combs, Florida Georgia Line, Priyanka Chopra Jones, and the Prince Estate. She was also instrumental in setting up the Brittney Spears' highly lucrative and influential Las Vegas residency in 2013. Shut up. She works with Amanda Bynes too? Okay, maybe she just works with everyone though, because like there's like really sus ones, there's really sussy ones, but also like normal ones too. I think she does like when Lou Taylor enters, you're gonna resent her. I already do. There's like something about Lou Taylor that, oh my god. You fucking bet, RTBA. You bet Lou Taylor wanted to do that shit to Kanye, dude. Yo. Dude. I feel like she's there. She's like a regular business manager. Obviously, she's like a regular business manager because otherwise she wouldn't have all of these other clients who then... No way. This is like her thing on the side, dude. Allegedly. Bro, she's like all of these stories seem as though this person allegedly cares very much. Like has like actual clients and does like asset management for them, and then also on the side allegedly takes care of... I mean, dude, look at this. Yo, Hollywood is so fucked, dude. Hollywood is so fucking fucked. Hollywood business manager Lou Taylor's ferociously breaking the glass ceiling. What the fuck? Takes away the assets of naive girl celebs? No. She's not responsible for their mania, but she suspiciously is right there for in the right moment to safeguard their assets and turn it into a conservatorship that then ends up like paying dividends to the family members and probably like paying herself a decent chunk too, a decent percentage. About 6 years ago, I would go to a pub in the city center, which had a tip jar that said every tip we get goes towards killing Justin Bieber. Wait, what the fuck? Ew. They had backlash here in the Twin Cities when they had tours of Prince's mansion and were selling his estate and memorabilia only a week out. Bro, am I being like QAnon here right now, or do we just like stumble across something that's like very scary?
Lou Taylor allegedly formulated a plan with Lindsay's mother, Dina, to take control over her finances and healthcare for an indefinite amount of time. A source told X17 that Lou has suggested to Dina Lohan that they seek conservatorship over Lindsay's estate. Of course, Lindsay doesn't really have any assets to speak of, so it would really be for the sole purpose of controlling her future earnings. The problem is neither Dina nor Michael would ever be granted a conservatorship by a judge, so Lou went searching for someone else to fill that role, someone with whom she could partner in a business sense, someone she trusts. This time she thinks Larry Rudolph may be the answer. Lou now realizes choosing Britt's dad as a conservator may not have been the best idea. He got power hungry and decided he didn't need Lou anymore. So this time, Lou thinks Larry might be willing to work her way on this and be a figurehead in Lindsay's career while Lou works behind the scenes. The source expanded on Brittney's situation, saying Lou totally brainwashed Jamie. She convinced him a conservatorship was the only way to go, and of course he went along with it when he heard about the financial control it would give him. But Lou didn't have Jamie in mind as the conservator at the beginning. She considered suggesting Larry Rudolph, but she was afraid he would abuse the power. With Jamie, Lou thought she would have someone who was naive enough that she could continue to influence him, and therefore continue to have a direct influence on Brittney's life and career for years to come. But Lindsay's father came to her rescue, publicly bashing Lou, saying, since Dina and manager Lou Taylor are going to try to be co-conservators, I had a choice of fighting it or petitioning for the purpose of appointing two conservators who don't have an interest in Lindsay's money, but rather her as a person and human being. Dina and Lou have their hands in it, not their hearts. A lot of the controversy in Lindsay's life wouldn't be there if Lou Taylor and Larry Rudolph weren't part of the equation.
I'm trying to make her aware that her mom and her business manager, her new business manager, Lou Taylor, they're actually trying to put Lindsay in the rehab so they can get a conservatorship over, and Lindsay doesn't even know it. When Lindsay's in the rehab, they're going to move for conservatorship. They want to put her in there. They want to control her finances. They want to control everything that she's doing to people in and out of her life.
I want to make one thing clear so you all know this. When Lindsay was supposed to go into Morningstar Rehab, they started to reconstruct everything there for Lindsay to accommodate her. Sean Chapman Holly, Sean and Lou Taylor leaked that to the press because they wanted Lindsay to get out sooner and have her in UCLA so she wouldn't spend much time in the rehab. They're destroying my daughter's life.
After being admitted due to the circumstance with her children, Brittney was released from the 5150 as the danger had subsided. But little did Brittney know there was much more.
Her conservatorship fee is $10K a week? That can't be true. Are you serious? There's no shot. That's making $500,000 a fucking year? Approved by court. Bro, this is literally I care a lot. This is literally I care a lot. I'm losing my fucking mind.
Danger to come. According to Lynn's tell-all, Jamie and Lou were concocting a plan to file for major documents that would cause Brittney to relinquish her finances, her children, and her freedom as soon as January 22nd. About a week after Brittney was released from the hospital, Kevin was even granted full custody of the children for the month. And Brittney, unfortunately, had no visitation due to the incident that had occurred. And it is important to note, this is still a time in Brittney's life where she has isolated herself. Her circle mainly consisted of Sam Lutfi, Ali, and Adnan Ghibli, her paparazzi boyfriend. However, that circle was getting even smaller as Brittney began to isolate herself even further. And Ali spoke out against Adnan, saying she didn't believe Adnan had good intentions with Brittney. And he was, after all, a paparazzi, the same people who had terrorized her so much and exploited her for every penny they could. Around this time, we also see Felicia Culotta, Brittney's old assistant, express that she wanted to work for Brittney again. However, she was in contact with Lynn, who said Brittney still needed to recover from the traumatic events that had occurred in the years prior. And as January 22nd approached, according to Lynn's tell-all, Lou Taylor and Brittney's father felt God telling them to wait, saying quiet plans had been underway for 6 weeks for Jamie to petition the court for temporary conservatorship of Brittney. But it seems like an impossible dream at that point, with Sam still so entrenched in her life. In fact, Jamie was going to file for the conservatorship on January 22nd, 8 days beforehand, but he and his business manager Lou felt God leading them to wait, fast, and pray, despite the frustration of a phalanx of lawyers. But just 1 week after, everything came to a boil.
Bro, this literally went like... We need to take like a 1 second break from all this, okay? I need to collect myself. And also put this fucking pad down. I'm gonna stand up more so my back's no longer fucked. Dude, what is happening here, dude? Oh, my frame is shattered. My frame is so shattered, dude. This is Kajimbo. This is absolutely Kajimbo. Ashley Banks, Lou Taylor has approached Amanda Bynes. This is my Amanda's tweets. This is her alias account, so the media can't quote her. God damn, stans are crazy.
Point. Brittney's family, team, and psychiatrists were beginning to plan an involuntary hold with the LAPD.
Yeah, this didn't go from 0 to 100. This was over 100 to 1,000, dude. We started off at 100, and now we're at like 1,000. It's gonna get to 1 million by the end of this.
And Brittney's family staged an intervention at her home. They explained how they were concerned about Sam Lutfi's influence. And coincidentally, on the exact same day, Sam Lutfi's past was exposed by Blender magazine. A few days later, Sam and Brittney phoned into TMZ, where they say her family just barged in, stating they have an agenda and are jealous they no longer fit into Brittney's life. Brittney did say her and Sam argue. And later that day, Brittney's family tried to execute the involuntary hold, but the LAPD were waiting for the paparazzi to leave. But the next day at 1 a.m., the LAPD and LAFD came with an ambulance and Brittney was put on a 5150 hold, psychiatric evaluation once again. She went willingly with Sam Lutfi and her parents to UCLA Medical Center, and allegedly Sam and her parents were arguing about her care. Should she be declared unfit to care for herself? TMZ reported she was taking Adderall and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
We have talked to a lot of people in her world. She has never been formally diagnosed with being bipolar.
And Brittney's mom, per Brittney's lawyer, wanted to take her home to Kentwood, away from Hollywood, where Brittney had a good support system and could recover away from whom she deemed as bad influences. However, this wasn't over for Brittney. She had been through so much the past 2 years, and she wasn't going down without a fight. Brittney didn't know it yet, but this month would define the next decade of her life and career, as this would be her last month experiencing what little freedom the media left to her to live a normal life.
February.
I wonder if those chatters who said, why are we paying so much attention to this? Like, it's not even interesting. It's just like a rich person is still in here, like, with popcorn, biting his fucking fingernails on the side. Like, goddamn, like, I was so wrong. That is literally... That is the most wrong chatter in the history of Twitch chat. No one has ever been more wrong than that fucking Twitch chatter.
February 1st, 2008 would be the day Brittney's estranged father, with a history of verbal and alcohol abuse, would begin taking total control of her life. Jamie Spears petitioned the Los Angeles Superior Court for appointment of probate conservator over Brittney Spears. A probate conservatorship, also referred to as a guardianship in other states, is used for adults who cannot take care of themselves. Usually the conservatee is elderly, has dementia, or is disabled, making Brittney Spears not the typical candidate for this type of conservatorship. The probate court can appoint a conservator of the person. Much like a parent caring for a minor child, they manage housing, food, clothing, day-to-day activities, and medical care. A conservator of the estate can be appointed who would handle the conservatee's assets and finances, or both can be appointed. Along with filing the petition for conservatorship over both Brittney Spears' person and estate, Jamie filed for a temporary restraining order against Sam Lutfi.
AJ, the claims are absolutely wild and terribly sad and disturbing. They come from Brittney Spears' mother, and I can tell you that we now definitely understand why a judge ordered Lutfi to stay away from her, her house, and her family.
Sam, why'd you park all the way down here?
Those were the good old days for Brittney and Sam.
Now, the good old days are over, and a court has ordered Lutfi to stay away from her, thanks to some shocking, absolutely stunning claims from Brittney's parents.
The parents literally think that Sam is the root of evil.
How's Brittney?
Now, for the first time, Showbiz Tonight brings you the horrifying claims Brittney's parents have made under oath against this mysterious figure in Brittney's life who seemed to come from out of nowhere.
Hey, Sam, what's going on?
Claims that Lutfi drugged Brittney, cut her phone lines, and that he, quote, purported to take control of her life, home, and finances.
Along with granting the temporary restraining order, the
Bro, what the fuck? Yo, this is actually common with victims of abuse, is that victims of abuse, I can't even talk. What the fuck? What is happening to me? Victims of abuse routinely get abused repeatedly by other people who will like seek them out as vulnerable targets.
The court also granted the temporary conservatorship, naming Jamie and Andrew Wallet, Jamie's attorney, co-conservators of her estate, and Jamie sole conservator of Brittney Spears. There would be a hearing only 3 days later on February 4th to reevaluate. Also on this day, Jamie and his attorneys would take steps to strip Brittney of her basic rights. By law, a conservatee is to be notified of the conservatorship hearing 5 days in advance, which is really important so they can get legal representation before someone takes control of their life. An ex parte application to waive Brittney's rights to receive this mandatory notification was filed by Jamie, and Judge Reva Goetz granted it. Jamie's reasoning was that Brittney could be released from her involuntary hold prior to the hearing, and Sam Lutfi would be notified, posing a risk to Brittney and her estate. However, when Jamie was granted temporary conservatorship, he was given the ability to secure her assets, have round-the-clock security with Brittney, change the locks on her home, and access to her medical care. Jamie had the power needed to protect Brittney and her estate. Not giving her the basic right to be notified was the first step taken to try to block Brittney from fighting back and keep her in the dark while they worked to take total control. On February 2nd, Ron Rail, Brittney's custody attorney, goes to visit Brittney at the UCLA Medical Center, as the temporary conservatorship would impact her current custody battle. He recommends Adam Streisand, one of the nation's top attorneys handling celebrity estates, to help Brittney with the conservatorship. Ron Rail showing up must have put a hole in the plan to keep Brittney in the dark, because shortly after, Ron received a call from Jamie's attorneys. Adam Streisand immediately sent an email to Jamie's attorney, Geraldine Weil, calling them out on their already shady antics. Streisand said, "I am told you called Ron Rail and told him that Brittney has been adjudged incompetent. That is false and you know it. You further stated that Mr. Rail has no right to see his client without approval from the..."
Here's the thing. If this person is like competent, not the lawyer, but like if the other side, the conservatorship partners are competent and they have done this many times, even to other celebrities, and are like a respectable figure in the community, a judge signing off on that conservatorship, no matter how overarching, over-encompassing, like and crazy it might sound to you, the judges will be like, yeah, of course, like this is a good person. I know that this person is like a respectable individual, and yeah, of course I'll you know, help. I mean, not help, but like I'll just sign off on this conservatorship and continue it.
Temporary conservators. That is also false. He then said the conservatorship is nothing more than a hostile takeover of our client for improper purposes. When Jamie's attorney, Geraldine Weil, received that email from Streisand, Brittney had not yet had her capacity evaluation that is required by the courts. Geraldine Weil quickly emails Dr. Long, a psychiatrist who had treated Brittney in 2007, asking him to do a capacity declaration on Brittney Spears. Dr. Long, who appeared to feel uncomfortable doing this evaluation, told Weil the next day on February 3rd that his attorneys informed him not to speak with her. Also on February
His music is getting ridiculous though.
3rd, Samuel Ingham, Brittney's court-appointed attorney, shows up to UCLA Medical Center to do a brief interview with Brittney, but allegedly didn't give her any notice he was coming. This short interview would end up severely impacting Brittney's ability to fight her conservatorship. It is the day of the hearing, February 4th, and Brittney is still on an involuntary hold at UCLA, but Adam Streisand is there to represent her. Streisand explains to the judge Brittney does not want her estranged father as her conservator, and Andrew Wallet, co-conservator, is called into question, stating Andrew doesn't have the expertise to handle a $40 million estate. Then Jamie's attorney questioned if Brittney even had the mental capacity to obtain Streisand as her attorney. Samuel Ingham, Brittney's court-appointed attorney, argued that in his 15-minute interview with her the day prior, she didn't have the capacity to hire direct counsel as she didn't understand the nature of the proceedings. Streisand responded saying he is—
Holy shit, dude. They're using their actual fucking... Whoa. That's nuts, dude. The moment that, like, the client that's under conservatorship is, like, demanding to get their own attorney, like, the court should absolutely step in and be like, yeah, we got to do that. That's crazy. That's actually fucking crazy, dude. How the fuck? It's GG's. Like, if you get 5150 and a judge declares you unable to take care of yourself, you're just stuck. Like, you have no autonomy ever again for the rest of your fucking life.
Is Brittney's lawyer. Judge Reva Goetz then ruled that Brittney did not have the capacity to hire an attorney, ejecting Streisand from the courtroom and siding with Sam Ingham, who only stood to financially benefit from Brittney being forced to use him as her attorney. Ingham was paid around $405,000 in just 2008 alone from Brittney's estate.
Brittney Spears' father is staying in control of her affairs for the time being. A California judge reported—
But we literally don't treat people with disabilities as humans. Like, this is unironically, like, you know, I joke about like MPD being like a debilitating disability or whatever, but like this is straight up an example of like ableism being so ingrained in our attitudes that like now I'm wondering like how many of these fucking conservatorship situations is just like based on incredibly faulty premises, or like that like people just like literally are no longer seen as human. Like they're literally not seen as human. You can't do this to another human being.
Reportedly rejected a plea from one of the singer's attorneys challenging Jamie Spears' role as co-conservator.
Also a court appearance Monday by Adam Streisand, who said he had been asked by Brittney Spears to represent her in the matter. He told the court that Brittney doesn't want her father in charge of her welfare, but the court denied the request for Streisand to enter the case on Spears' behalf.
This judge yet again made a ruling that stripped Brittney of rights every conservatee is supposed to have. Most importantly, the right to choose your own counsel. Brittney never stood a chance. She was fully blocked from being able to fight for her basic rights and the empire she built before she was even released from her involuntary hold. What's also really strange is that Jamie's attorneys seemed to know this would be the ruling beforehand, considering they told Ron Rail days prior that Brittney was adjudged incompetent. How they knew before the official ruling, before she even had a capacity evaluation, and prior to Sam Ingham's infamous 15-minute interview will forever remain a mystery. 2 days later, Brittney is released from the site.
I think some of this is like, some of this is like a little bit embellished or like exaggerated. Maybe there's some omissions here. It's just like something doesn't add up, you know? It doesn't pass my immediate smell test. But regardless, like that part was that part is like a little weird, right? But it doesn't matter because, like I said, these people can get away with doing shit like this because they're already in a position of prominence. They go to the same cocktail parties. Like, the entire purpose of networking like this is so that other people rarely ever suspect them of doing something indecent. And that Hollywood Reporter article is like a perfect example of this, right? Where you look at the Hollywood Reporter article and it talks about how, Lou Taylor is a girl boss and she's working 24/7. Like, that's great. That's great PR for her. There are very little articles, on the other hand, about her being in the forefront of every single. Guys, stop. Okay, February. Okay, here you go. There are very little articles about her being involved in the conservatorship arguments revolving around Courtney Love, Lindsay Lohan, potentially contacting Amanda Bynes. I don't know if that's true or not. Like, it's so the conspiracy isn't that like, you know, these guys, the judge is in on it or whatever the fuck. It's more so that like it's oftentimes way simpler than that. You know what I mean?
Of the UCLA Medical Center. Jamie and Lynn Spears are really upset, putting out a statement saying the hospital should not have released her. However, the psychiatrist said they simply could not hold her any longer. She was stable. Brittney quickly hops into Adnan's car and she wastes no time heading straight to see attorney Adam Streisand.
What is it? What is the judge's name? Riva what?
Come on, guys.
Chat, what is the judge's name? Riva Goed?
I'm telling you right now.
What the fuck? Okay. The person, I'm looking at this on the other side of the screen. The judge involved in signing off the conservatorship, like in the aftermath of the 5150 hold to the lawyers and the father, literally was a mediator in other abusive conservatorship court cases, as Judge Elizabeth Lippitt chose ex-Judge Riva Goetz to set up the structure for like other abusive conservatorship situations. I don't know if this is the same person though. Like, what the fuck? No, it's about like, this is about older people. It's about older people with like estates and how people have taken like the estates of older people with conservatorship. Oh, this is Judge Brenda Penny. This is a different judge now. Crazy, dude. This is so creepy. I'm like a little worried looking into this. You're so selfish for leaving GTA RP? What? You need to get a skill like GTA RP, not just react to videos. You're so selfish for leaving GTA RP? What the fuck? Are you alright, dude? Like, why are you here? There's all the other RP players who are like still streaming. Like, why'd you come in here? Probably to watch the ad at the top of the hour every hour because it's coming right now. That's why he came in here. Now, of course, this chatter, just like you, know that if you subscribe, you'll no longer see the ads. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or you can use an ad block, or you can use a VPN. But, yeah, at the top of the hour, there is a 60-second ad break. And you already know that. So use your Twitch Prime for free. Here's the ad break now. Dude, I'm doing so well with these fucking segues today. It's like literally every single one of them in 10-10.
Brittney wanted to challenge the conservatorship, but she was really concerned for her kids. Streisand said he couldn't help because of her being deemed incompetent. While Brittney was in the hospital, her father used her children as emotional leverage, asking Brittney if she wanted help getting her babies back. Streisand said she started to understand her best shot at seeing her boys was to just accept what was happening to her. The next hearing to evaluate Brittney's conservatorship would come, and Judge Riva Goetz would grant another extension of the conservatorship. Meanwhile, on the same day as the hearing, Brittney managed to get on a conference call with attorney John Eardley, with the help of a paparazzi friend, so Jamie wouldn't find out, as he was monitoring all of her calls. OK Magazine got a transcript of the call. Brittney said, "Basically, I want my life back. I want to drive my car. I want to live in my house alone. I want to pick my own security, see who I want to see, and make it happen." Attorney Eardley quickly gets to work and submits a motion to move Brittney's case from the LA Superior Court to the federal level, citing that her civil rights are being violated. This motion would get a new judge on the case. He explained,
dude, what the fuck is monarch mind control, dude? Just because I'm looking at fucking like weird conservatorship arguments around Brittney Spears doesn't mean like, what the fuck is this bullshit, dude? Like, I love when people just like, oh, it's MK Ultra. Christ, dude. Oh my god, do not look at that shit. It's right-wing conspiracy shit. Monarch mind control is what is it, like some fucking MK Ultra shit that you've or is like extended to like some right-wing conspiracy or something?
Brittney has not been able to have a single
Time to go deep, brother. No, I'm not going deep, you dumb fuck. Like, half of that stuff is like LSD, and the other half is just not real, okay? I'm sorry to fucking break it to you. Okay? Brother. Just because I'm looking at this weird shit doesn't mean that, like, I believe in, like, any number of weirdo conspiracy theories that you fucking red-pilled dweebs believe in on the internet, okay?
hearing before the court and was stripped of the right to access counsel. She is being completely...
I love when like weirdo conspiracy theorists are like, yeah, this is how it started with me too. You're about to take the red pill, bro. You're about to dive deep. You're about to go down the well, dude. You're about to fucking see some things that are going to be too hard for you to handle, my friend. Yeah. Before you know it, there it is. QAnon. It's real. Why? Why is it that these people like make it seem like the untold truth, the unspeakable truth that they arrived at is like something that no one has ever encountered before? And it's so fucking good. And it's gonna, like, really, I'm gonna fucking fully believe in it. And if I don't, I know MK Ultra was real. I know. Anyway, let's keep going.
Isolated with absolutely no privacy. She can't make telephone calls, she can't receive or send mail, or drive a vehicle. At this point, Brittney has been stripped of almost every right a conservatee should have under California law. Eardley also explained, under the circumstances, Jamie Spears is denying Brittney not only her liberty, but the ability to participate in her own custody case. Jamie Spears and Andrew Wallet responded saying this is a brazen but vain attempt to strip a probate court of jurisdiction from an attorney without a client. Attorney Eardley responded in an interview with the Associated Press saying that he is concerned for the emotional and physical safety of Brittney under the circumstances. He was asked the last time he consulted with Brittney, and he said he talked to her a few days ago and someone wrestled the phone away from her and he had not talked to her since. Judge Gutierrez, who was overseeing this motion, ruled that it should stay at the state level because Brittney was deemed incapable of hiring an attorney, and Eardley does not have the authority to remove this case. Although Brittney was denied yet again from being able to fight the conservatorship, a right she has been denied multiple times at this point, she at least did receive some hopeful news. She was finally able to see her boys.
This is why TrueAnon Chapo and Death is Just Around the Corner are taken more seriously. They delve into the psychology and reality of conspiracy theories within Western society. Okay, let me just point something out here. This is the last time I'm going to do this. No, I did run an ad, Omotho. You just didn't see it. Okay, first and foremost, I mean, I don't know about the third one, but those other two that you're referencing are my friends. Secondly, I don't know why people feel like they want to act out. Like they're like, oh, it's time for Hasan to like read chat. So I'm just going to say like the dumbest thing possible. Lastly, it's hilarious that you're like, TrueAnon is taken more seriously. And finally, I have extensively covered the reasons as to why conspiracy theories exist, because a lot of people's worldview is rooted within like a non-materialist perspective. So of course you need to like ground your entire worldview and your theories in this like idealism. And that is where conspiracy theories work perfectly, because there's always like a villain. Oftentimes the villain in said conspiracy theories are Jews. That's why every conspiracy theory oftentimes goes back to like anti-Semitic shit. And also, just because, like I said, I've talked about this a million times over, doesn't mean that doesn't mean that I'm going to talk about it every single time for every single issue.
She regained visitation with her sons. However, a psychiatrist and her father must be present to monitor the visits. This would give Jamie even more control when it comes to Brittney's children. And using that control, the conservatorship would put Brittney right back to work with hardly any time to recover after her life has been turned totally upside down. She was on an episode of How I Met Your Mother, Brittney was seen going to the recording studio, and the conservatorship even hired back Larry Rudolph, who Brittney had made it clear she didn't trust and had fired 2 times in the past. The next couple of months are quiet as Brittney is already beginning to work on her 6th studio album. However, behind the scenes, it appears Lynn Spears is starting to realize she's getting pushed out of her daughter's life. In a series of email leaks, an alleged—
The funniest part about it is that like, you know, these 2 demons are just like fucking battling one another too, over like how much they can exploit their daughter.
Email from Lynn to Jamie Spears from May 28th, 2008 was also leaked. Lynn says, Jamie, I never thought you would ever make it possible for a court to keep my child's health information from me, her mother. You know you put your foot down about many things, and you could this one too. But once again, it's not important enough to you because it's me. You, as a conservator, can give your daughter's medical records to her mother to view, because I am the mother who was there when our children were sick and in the hospital. Where were you? The man you once were would have had no problem in telling those high-paid professionals that her mother has every right to know her child's health, court or no court. And I'm not the one making money off selling stories to magazines and never will be, if that is the threat they fear. And I know you don't understand those medical terms, you can't even pronounce them correctly, that are in the health document, so get Dr. Saja or someone to interpret it for you. Clearly you need to stay at the house with Brittney until she stabilizes on the new drug. Don't run out on your daughter again when the going gets tough, especially now. You surely are paid enough to put forth the extra effort. Please question your conscience about the real reason you allow me to get pushed out. What would Jesus do? Just one day after Lynn Spears sent the—
Bro, God left this planet a long time ago, okay? Jesus is so, if he ever existed, he is so fucking far removed from the Spears family. Oh my lord.
Aforementioned email, Samuel Ingham, the attorney Brittney Spears is being forced to use, was in Judge Reva Goet's chambers for 90 minutes, stating Brittney should not participate in her July 31st hearing, saying it would be harmful to her. Judge Goetz agreed, stating Brittney was on a new medication.
This person literally has actively worked as a mediator, selected by another judge in numerous conservatorship court cases, by the way. Like, this is kind of her bread and butter. I looked it up. Like, she executes conservatorship deals, basically. This is kind of like her fucking forte.
And her diagnosis had yet to be complete. So at this point, without even a complete diagnosis, Brittney Spears is being told yet again that she cannot even appear at her own conservatorship hearings or have her own legal counsel. She is being deemed incompetent. Meanwhile, to the contrary, she has been working, acting, and recording her next album.
Brittney's team looked at her like she was nothing more than a cash cow, and if she wasn't working, the people around her weren't getting paid. And with a ginormous media storm of her being 5150 twice and put under a conservatorship, all the while she's still recovering from the lasting effects of 2007, Brittney's team knew they had to do one thing to earn their paycheck. Hire a PR team, flip her image entirely, and push her harder than they ever had before. This process had already begun during the conservatorship, as when Brittney was filming How I Met Your Mother merely 1 month after being released from the psychiatric ward, it was rumored that Larry Rudolph began shopping around a reality TV series that would reportedly document Brittney's comeback to the music scene. Before Brittney even had time to breathe after being 5150'd and thrust into a conservatorship, her team was already wanting to kick her comeback into gear and broadcast every moment for the entire world to see. However, a source also began telling outlets that Jamie was against the idea. He didn't want the world seeing everything that was going on behind the scenes. He needed that veil of secrecy. But the show was going to happen and began filming later that year. Even though she was fighting for her freedom, in true Larry Rudolph fashion, her team was still pushing her career full steam ahead, whether she was ready or not. As we saw with the release of Blackout, Brittney didn't do a proper world tour promoting the album. Even though rumors of a Blackout tour were flying as early as October of 2007, the world never saw that tour come to fruition. This was a huge loss, as Brittney's label and team hadn't seen the same return of investment that her other albums had had, simply because she didn't tour. This made the circus starring Brittney Spears that much more important. She would need to promote 2 major albums across the world while going through personal struggles, legal back and forths within the court system regarding her conservatorship, all while having the media document every second of it. But Brittney's team was going to make this tour happen regardless, and step 1 was her diet. The entertainment industry is known to be cruel when it comes to a performer's weight, and this isn't just the media. This can be people on the inside too. People who are meant to care about you, completely controlling your dieting until you can't think straight. For instance, Dr. Luke, a producer who was heavily involved in the production of Circus, once snapped in 2014 at a then bulimic Kesha after he saw a photo of the singer drinking a Diet Coke, saying, "We all get concerned when she is breaking her diet plan. We have seen it happen multiple times almost every day. It is also double concerning when the A-list songwriters and producers are reluctant to give Kesha their songs because of her weight." This was and continues to be the unfortunate reality of the music industry, and Brittney Spears was no different. According to Daily Mail, Brittney was back to a mere 126 pounds. Headlines would read, "I'm lucky to be alive," and in the next statement say, "plus her amazing diet secret."
Isn't Dr. Luke another fucking demon too? Dude, the music industry is so fucking bananas, dude. It's like, it is so crazy. The music industry is so fucking insane.
Secrets. After the stress of her custody battle saw her, quote, "tip the scales" to 144 pounds. Daily Mail detailed that her expensive health makeover allegedly included $6,400 a month on a nutritionist and diet supplements, $5,180 on a personal trainer, and $2,600 on a private dance choreographer. A source told Closer magazine she limits herself to 1,400 calories a day, with one cheat day where she'll treat herself. She also changed the way she eats, trying to have only 2/3 of what is on her plate. It's all about portion control and fresh food now, and lots of water in place of Red Bull. This was hard work and wasn't put in place because she was unhealthy. Even when the media trashed her body at the 2007 VMAs, Brittney was still toned. She was still more fit than any of the people trashing her. This was purely for cosmetic reasons, and that is Brittney's prerogative. However, as we have learned, Brittney's choices are oftentimes made for her. This is evidenced even further by Brittney being made the face of Bally's in May of that same year. As if that wasn't quick enough, Brittney was still recording her 6th studio album. It would be in the same category as Blackout, but more lighthearted and pop influenced. Keep in mind, while recording portions of this album, cameras were still following her for the reality show that was going to be released later that year. And at this point, tensions were very high between the Spears family and Sam Lutfi. As Jamie was attempting to gain more control over Brittney, Sam and Jamie both signed an agreement stating that Jamie will stop pursuing the temporary restraining order against Sam as long as he agrees to stop contacting Brittney. Around the same time, Brittney sat down for a Take 2 interview with OK Magazine. This interview is very important as we also see Jamie throw some deep, unnecessary jabs Brittney's way, saying, "I would hope the conservatorship stands until the end of the year, and then we'll sit back and evaluate where we are at that time, where Brittney is at that time. Our relationship is new for both of us. She sometimes calls me 50 times a day and asks me things that light my life up. But like all daughters, she is very manipulative and cunning, so she gets what she wants a lot." Keep in mind, Brittney is sitting next to him while he's saying all of this. Anytime Brittney did press in 2008, she was surrounded by her father or someone her father trusted to make sure she didn't speak out of turn. We see this again in a Rolling Stone interview in September, when the journalist who wrote the article included, "When I met Jamie Spears backstage at the VMAs, he shakes my hand and says, 'Take care of my baby.' The 'or else' is implied. A bear of a man with piercing blue eyes. Jamie and the conservatorship lawyers make it difficult to talk in depth to his baby, and interviewing Brittney was a rigorously micromanaged process. We were never left alone together, and my questions had to be submitted ahead of time for approval. Acceptable topics included her new album, her boys, and that's about it. Her team said she wouldn't answer anything about the past year and vetoed a question as straightforward as, 'Do you have an opinion on the presidential election?' This seemed to be the ground rules for every interview that she did around this time, as the same questions were asked in the OK Magazine article about her kids, her family life, and her album. In the OK interview, Brittney said that her album was coming in 6 to 9 months. However, just the next month, she was already recording a music video for the first single off the album, Womanizer. And the music video was released even quicker than that, coming out a little bit over a week since being recorded. Womanizer quickly became one of Brittney's most successful songs to date, and she jumped right back in front of the camera to record the Circus music video.
Bro, I need to watch this video in half speed like it's a Ben Shapiro video, dude. How the fuck is this video an hour and 27 minutes long? And the entire fucking pacing on this is like cranked up in like double speed, dude. They're just like blowing through so much shit. This is one of the most insane stories I've ever fucking seen. This is like Zack Snyder cut. Brittney Spears' conservatorship. Gays go faster than normal humans and gays love Brittney. This is normal speed. Yeah, I know that I'm queer baiting right now with my coverage of, I mean, I'm literally queer baiting. I'm wearing a pearl necklace with a Mariah Carey t-shirt while I go through the entire saga of Brittney Spears' life through her conservatorship process. This is literally gayer than sucking a penis on camera. Like, so I apologize. I'm straight. Just letting you guys know again. What I'm doing currently is perhaps one of the gayest things you can do. Let's keep going.
Around this time, it was announced that Brittney Spears would be premiering her highly anticipated reality show as a music documentary on MTV. This documentary would release in conjunction with her new album Circus, and would feature behind-the-scenes footage of Womanizer, some of the recording of Circus, and the accompanying video, as well as different rehearsals and Brittney's day-to-day life. And while it was interesting to see Brittney in her element working...
This is why degrees in journalism and history exist. Not every shred of information about the topic is important to the thesis. I agree with that. They definitely have like added way too much.
The majority of people tuned in to hear Brittney comment on her personal life, as that's all the media had been talking about for nearly 3 years. And now, the state of her conservatorship, something she had refrained from in the Circus press tour. And they were treated to the only raw clips in existence of Brittney speaking candidly about her conservatorship. For the Record began by setting the premise that on the eve of the 2008 MTV Music Awards, Brittney Spears invited a film crew into her life. The film you're about to see was captured over the 60 days that followed. No topic was off limits and no question went unanswered. And for the first time in nearly a year, Brittney had the floor. She began by saying that there is a lot that people don't know about her and she feels misrepresented. Then it jumps right into her hectic lifestyle preparing for the VMAs. Brittney's team begins discussing the way they keep people in and out of her life. Jamie telling Larry Rudolph that security will be stationed at the door, and Larry responds saying, "No one gets through the door without speaking to one of us. We can't have a revolving door." They instruct her that when she accepts her VMA awards, someone will knock on the door, presumably of her private dressing room, and guide her onto the stage. They had it set up so that no one could speak to her. The control of Brittney exhibited throughout this documentary is intense, and anytime Jamie enters a room, Brittney tenses up and is a completely different person, and anytime he leaves, she relaxes and is her normal bubbly self. She expands on her lifestyle saying,
I never wanted to become one of those prisoner people. I've always wanted to feel free, get in my car and go and not let people make me feel like I had to stay at my home. And let certain people into my life that were just bad people. And I was very guarded at first, but then I went to a point where I ended up letting them in because I was lonely or whatever the fact, and I really paid the consequences for that. You know, you do something wrong and you learn from it, you move on, but it's like I'm having to pay for it for a really long time.
Brittney also confirmed the notion that she didn't care about the business side of her conservatorship.
In the last couple of years, things that have happened, not with even the business, things that just happened to me personally have been the problem.
It was all about her personal life and children. At this point, Brittney was alone. She explained how heartbreaking the entire situation was with Kevin.
With Kevin, because I had 2 children with him, I did not know what to do with myself. Built my dream home in Malibu, a huge house and the pool and a huge yard for the kids, and I did everything for them, and just my world was that.
Everything was for them. This house was lavish and perfect for the family that Brittney wanted to raise. But now that house was just a lonely reminder of the childhood that was quickly disappearing.
I did not want to be at home because like my babies represented home. That was my home with them. And every time I went home, it was like, oh God, I can't be here.
Then Brittney gets into how the people around her are taking advantage of her.
I'm definitely angry with myself for letting people take advantage of me. I'm angry with people for taking advantage of me and for letting it go on for so long. But I have to go on with it. I look at it for what it is and I have to...
Bro, the part of this that we're like forgetting, sorry, I'm gonna pause for a second here, is that like she has a sister who's also famous. Why does she never come up in any of these stories? Like, I feel like the Spears fandom, Britney Spears fandom, kind of like the Britney Spears fandom don't really acknowledge her existence, it feels like. Jamie Lynn is also bad, not nearly as famous because her sister's story is just as fucked up. Because she got pregnant at 16 and erased. Her sister's publicly sided with her father in the situation. Wow. What the fuck? I'm not even a fan, and I know she's not nearly as famous as Britney. Yeah, no shit. Britney Spears is one of the most famous people on the fucking planet. But, like, Jamie Lynn Spears is also kind of famous, or was kind of famous, and then just pee-pee poof. Her son knows all about the dog shit too. Britney Spears' son Jaden Federline slams grandfather Jamie. He could go and die. Britney Spears' 13-year-old son Jaden Federline ripped into his grandfather Jamie Spears in a no-holds-barred rant on Instagram Live. What the fuck? He's 13. He's a pretty big dick. He's pretty fucking... 13 years old. Yeah, he's a pretty big dick. He's pretty fucking gay as shit. He can go die. Oh no. My man said he's gay as shit, dude. Oh, that's funny. I guess he's not one of the woke Zoomers. I have the best dad ever. My dad is literally Jesus. I wonder if he's a juicer. Dude, how the fuck did we get here, bro? Some crazy ass shit happened today.
She explains how hopeless she is, saying even when you go to jail, you know when you get out.
If I wasn't under the restraints that I'm under right now, you know, with all the lawyers and doctors and people analyzing me every day and all that kind of stuff, like if that wasn't there, I'd feel so liberated and feel
no, his
like
dad is Kevin
myself,
Federline.
kind of stuck in this
K-Fed.
place, and it's like, how do you deal, you know, and you just cope, and that's what I do. I just cope with it. Just like you can't really go there in a complete state of happiness because you're scared that it's going to be taken away. So it's better just not to feel anything at all and to have hope than to feel the other way. And when you tell people that, and when I tell them the way I feel, it's like they hear me, but they really not listening. They're hearing what they want to hear. They're not really listening to what I'm telling them. It's like, it's bad. I'm sad.
These clips are among some of the rarest clips in the entirety of Brittney's career and have been scrubbed off the internet almost entirely. The documentary is not available on any streaming platform. However, you can buy the limited DVD from a private company on Amazon.
Dare you, Mr. Spears? You had me fooled. And you too, Mrs. Spears. Death to all of them.
That is what Brittney said. She
Dare
What?
you, Mr. Spears? You had me fooled. And you too, Mrs. Spears. Death to all of them.
That is what Brittney said. She
Oh, okay, saved. That's what Brittney said.
Kill somebody. Clap if you've ever wanted to kill somebody.
Bro, what is happening on this TV show, bro? What the fuck? What a wild TV show, dude. Holy shit. God damn.
Amazon for $70. The documentary featuring a well-thought-out Brittney, someone who is expressing how they felt and explaining the situations going on around them in a very real way, is nowhere to be found. It's nearly been erased from history. In fact, when attempting to upload part 2 of the series, the episode which featured clips of For the Record was completely blocked worldwide. Not copyright
When is
claimed,
Terrible 2
but
person
completely
too fuck
blocked
out of
on
here?
automatic
I don't know.
review. That means whomever is in charge of distribution of this documentary wants no one to see how truthful, well thought out, and competent Brittney really is. The best you'll be able to find are some grainy clips on Daily Motion or some rare HD uploads on sketchy sites. This documentary serves as a rare glimpse into Brittney's reality and one of the most obscure and unknown marks in pop culture history.
Bro, oh, Queen Beauty. I don't know why I read it as queer baiting.
With the documentary being released on November 30th and Brittney holding a special screening for the event, Brittney's latest album was only 2 days away from being released. And despite controversy surrounding her song If You See Gamey,
Well, the line we bleeped out goes, love me, hate me, all of the boys and girls are begging to, and then she says, if you seek Amy. Doesn't make any sense, does it? It's not supposed to. If you say it quickly, with no space in between the letters, it basically spells out the F word and then me. So it's all the girls and boys are begging to. And now comes the music.
How dare she? How dare she Wow. Satan. Satanism is alive and well, boys. How dare she do this, corrupting the mind of our youth?
Video, starting and ending with...
I find it so funny that, like, this fucking demon right here will sit there and get personally offended because, like, someone spelled out F-U-C-K me. Like, fuck me, right? While simultaneously will turn around and in that same broadcast be like, Santa Claus is white. And if you blacks have anything to say about it, well, you're wrong. It's white. So is Jesus Christ. And it's like, okay, well, I think one is way more horrible than the other. Just saying, like, you're a piece of shit person.
Clips from what looks very much like a carbon copy of America's Newsroom.
Brittney's PR makeover was really kicked into gear, but most of Brittney's work during the circus era was ahead of her, as her team was developing a nearly 100-show world tour based around an actual 3-ring circus to show off the Brittney that they had primed for this moment. Brittney's team enlisted the help of the best that the industry had to offer. The stage was incredible and the gags would be insane. Brittney's team had also enlisted the help of Perez Hilton to open the tour.
Perez Hilton talked about professionalism. When is it professional to publicly bash someone who's going through a hard time?
Whom had previously trashed Brittney in every way possible, but she shot him with a crossbow in the opening sequence, signifying her rise from the tabloids. Nonetheless, Larry Rudolph was quoted saying the tour would blow people's minds and promises to show Brittney's fans something they will never forget.
Dude, why does this guy look like he just, put Vaseline all over his face at every moment? There's something about this Larry Rudolph dude. He's just so greasy. I don't know what it is. Like, every time they show him, he's just so oily, bro.
She goes full speed the whole show, about an hour and a half. It's pretty intense. This is a full-blown, full-out Brittney Spears show. It is a pop extravaganza. It is everything everybody expects from her and more. Nearly months after being 5150 and admitted to a psych ward, Brittney's team was pushing her on the biggest tour she'd ever done. Needless to say, Brittney would need to rehearse a lot, which is something she's previously said she really enjoys doing, even under Larry and her father's watchful eye. At this time, she still had no phone usage. However, allegedly one day while rehearsing, Brittney snuck off to make one of the most important phone calls of her life.
Hi, my name's Brittney Spears. I called you earlier. I'm calling again because I just wanted to make sure during the process of ending the conservatorship that my father threatened me several times that he'll take my children away. I just want to be guaranteed that everything will be fine with the process of you guys taking care of everything and things just being the same as far as my custodial.
Brittney left this voicemail for attorney John Eardley, the same attorney who tried to help her move her case to the federal level the year prior.
I'm gonna keep it 100. The fact that there hasn't been like a bar investigation for every single lawyer involved in this conservatorship is straight up wild to me. Okay, like the very moment that Brittney Spears on record now said, I was never told that I could fucking file a termination of my conservatorship, is a moment where you are way too late to the game for not being able to for not investigating this entire process top down, bottom up. It's insane. Like, it is so fucking corrupt. It is so fucking insane. It makes me wonder how many people in this state alone have been destroyed by predatory conservatorship programs where, like, judges who operate as mediators on other conservatorship programs that, like, set it up specifically work alongside lawyers and consultants that engage in this regularly. It is I Care a Lot. I Care a Lot is a direct, like, it's literally what this is. Apparently, Lindsay Lohan escaped to Dubai and Courtney Love went to London because of the shit that happens in LA. Like, there is something happening in fucking California where just like, you're fucked. Like, I would look into every single judge that has touched this case. I would look into every single lawyer that has touched this case. I know that this happens in Florida too, where old people live, like rich old people live, but it is absolutely insane that, like, this has been going on for 13 fucking years, dude.
Prior. When the judge denied his motion and kept it at the state level, he said that Eardley had not yet tried to challenge the probate court's appointment of Samuel Ingham, so Eardley was going to do just that. He contacted attorney John Anderson for his expertise, and together they would attempt to help Brittney. On January 27, 2009, attorney Anderson sent a letter to Jamie Spears' attorneys with an ex parte petition that he was planning to file with the courts on the 29th. They were petitioning for Brittney to finally be able to retain and pay for her own attorneys, and to relieve Samuel Ingham, the court-appointed attorney. Since Brittney was so controlled and unable to make phone calls, Sam Lutfi would help Brittney by being the middleman. He would somehow sneak the petition paperwork over to Brittney for her to sign, and then get the paperwork back to the attorneys. Jamie's attorneys would then speak with attorney Anderson. They informed him Brittney lacked the capacity to retain counsel, and that Eardley had tried to remove the case before, but was denied for that reason. Anderson then decided not to file the petition to help Brittney and would have no further involvement in the matter. 3 days later, Jamie Spears filed for a restraining order against Adnan, Brittney's ex-boyfriend, Sam Lutfi, and attorney John Eardley. When Sam was acting as the middleman between Brittney and the attorneys, he broke the agreement he made with Jamie back in July of 2008, stating he would cease contact with Brittney. Jamie said upon reviewing phone records, Brittney had spoken with both Adnan and Sam that month. Attorney John Eardley was included due to his connection with Sam Lutfi and his attempts at trying to assist Brittney. The restraining order was granted temporarily, with hearings to follow. At this point, Jamie had successfully obtained restraining orders on the last few people who had spent a year actively trying to get Brittney out of the immensely controlling situation she was in. Allie Sims, Brittney's cousin and previous assistant, spoke up as she hadn't heard from Brittney since the conservatorship started. Allie said, "You know they're very controlling, and that's fine, and I just stepped back. I'm not going to fight 9 lawyers and parents." Sam Lutfi now decided to take legal action against Jamie and Lynn Spears. Jamie Spears had assaulted Sam by sneaking into Brittney's house, bypassing her gate and guard, then proceeded to punch Sam in the chest back in January of 2008. And Lynn was being sued for defamation, mainly citing her 2008 declaration and her book Through the Storm, where Lynn had accused Sam of drugging Brittney and not giving her access to phones or cars. But he wouldn't just sue Brittney's parents, he would also sue Brittney for breach of contract, airing out her personal life from her breaking point in 2007. He was one of the last few people trying to help Brittney get out from under her estranged father's thumb, but now he was seeking compensation for the time he was her manager. Although they hadn't met yet, he alleged when Brittney infamously shaved her head, it was to avoid drug testing, and that when he agreed to become her manager, he brought drug-sniffing dogs to her house, flushing a powdery white substance. He also stated he helped with the paparazzi so they would stop putting her in dangerous situations. If the paparazzi adhered to their rules, he would text them their location so they could get the pictures they needed.
You know, it'd be kind of cool if you guys were able to talk to her. Wouldn't that be cool? No, that'd be great. If she was able to talk, 27-year-old, can't really speak, doesn't have a cell phone, can't see her friends. A little odd, don't you think? 27-year-old touring the whole world? Yeah. No? Well, you know, she's making money for everybody. She's making money for everyone but herself, maybe. She's not really concerned with money, you know? Yeah. Brittney's not that type of person, so. Oh, really? No. She's a normal sweetheart, mother of 2, 27-year-old, you know? Very successful superstar. Can't have a phone and go where she wants and see who she wants. Like, I think that's a little unfair, don't you think? It's almost like slavery, modern day slavery. Don't you think? Almost. Sounds like it. Well, you know, maybe instead of you guys getting your info from other people, you should try to get a hold of her yourself and see what she has to say. I think you guys would be rather pretty surprised. If she talked to us, I would definitely film. If she was allowed to. She was allowed. I'm sure she would love to talk to you guys. Yeah. But she's not allowed to. Do you think she's more miserable now than she was back? Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. Yeah.
But she must be going through a lot of hard stuff right now.
Well, wouldn't you if you weren't able to go anywhere and do whatever you wanted and govern constantly and you notice there's no friends around, it's just assistants and agents and come on guys, 2 years of this, it's a little nonsense, you know? I mean, where they're going to, you know, place all the everything on these allegations that the parents made about me, which are all false, you know, and I think we'll see that in court soon, you know? Those are horrendous allegations those people made. It's unfortunate circumstances, you know? talking about drugging people. To the contrary, you know.
So you did nothing of the case?
God, no. Never. No.
Sam, are you going to do contact with it if it gets lifted?
I can't answer that, but I wouldn't see why not. She's still a good friend of mine.
Hearings for the restraining order case against Adnan, Sam, and Eardley would begin. Brittney's hairdresser said that Sam used her to try to contact Brittney around Christmas time in 2008, but she said,
Yo, Twitch is getting fucked right now. That's why there's Fs. I don't know if you can hear me or see this, if Fs are happening to you, but just refresh. It's not my fault. It's just Twitch is fucked. Anyway. Apparently this guy is like involved with Amanda Bynes too. Sam Lufty. Like all of these people are such fucking, they're so sus.
that Brittney told her that she is scared of Sam Lutfi. Sam's sister, Christina Lutfi, would also testify, saying Brittney told her she fears her father and wants to get out from under his control.
She was calling that she was, sick of this conservatorship, and her dad was controlling, and she wants out, and she just really wants Sam to find her a new lawyer, that she can't even have her own cell phone without them overhearing or controlling everything. I relayed the message to my brother to see if he could help her out. He said he'll see what he could do, excuse me. And we talked one more time, and she asked if I could get her a phone. She told me she'd be at the Peninsula Hotel around 9 o'clock. When I gave her the phone, she was really happy and relieved, but also just pretty scared, that the fact that I have to slip her a phone, and her mom can't see her, she was scared. So she had to go hide it so no one would see.
Blair Burke, an attorney for Jamie Spears, testified under oath saying Brittney said she didn't know who Eardley was and did not want him as her attorney. Now, this testimony from Brittney's father's attorney makes zero sense, considering the phone transcript obtained by OK Magazine from 2008, where Brittney is contacting Eardley for help, and the leaked 2009 voicemail where she said her father was threatening her. However, the restraining orders were granted for 3 years. Friedman, Sam's attorney, said in regards to Brittney Spears being deemed too incompetent to testify, the conservatorship was misusing a statute meant for the elderly or severely disabled adults to protect a singer who is currently on an international concert tour. One major reason Brittney's parents said they needed the conservatorship was to protect Brittney from Sam Lutfi and his control, but the conservatorship had now become the very thing they were trying to protect her from. While attorneys were arguing back in Los Angeles if Brittney was incompetent or not, she was embarking on a new relationship with her agent Jason Trawick and her first live tour in 5 years. The circus tour would not only be her highest grossing tour, bringing in $131 million, but it would be a 4-leg international tour with more shows than she had ever done before.
The Las Vegas residency that's going to come up soon was facilitated by Lou Taylor.
The performance, I mean, it was great.
Stage show was great. Stage show was amazing.
Phenomenal.
So is Brittney back?
It was definitely a circus. It was awesome. She's definitely back. It's Brittney, bitch.
Brittney Spears has made her comeback 100%. She rocked the house. She is back. If anybody thought Brittney wouldn't come back, Brittney's back.
The effects and the dancers and the colors and everything was.
Bro, the fact that one of the main lawyers is making 10 grand a week for the past 13 years off of the conservatorship fees is just, that alone is jail. Just straight to jail. Don't pass go. Don't collect $100. Just throw the man in jail immediately. Millions and millions of dollars, dude. $520,000 a year just for managing the conservatorship without ever once petitioning to terminate it. $6.7 million. Yeah.
Amazing. The costumes, yes.
She brought back all of her old music too for like fans that have known her ever since we've grown up. It was completely amazing. Blew her mind with all
she
the
changes, she has like other stuff going on. It's not just like
it's not boring. You
like,
have
black
circus
and everything.
people
Awesome.
running around,
Yeah, oh my
going
God,
to the
you're awesome.
concert. It's amazing.
After Brittney's comeback tour ended, she had a 2-hour closed-door hearing in regards to her conservatorship for an annual progress report.
After 2 long years fighting her conservatorship, nearly 100 shows touring and promoting Circus, and promoting her single 3, along with her greatest hits album, Brittney's team gave her no breaks.
No, Jenna, I did not listen to it because it's not legal for me to listen to it, okay? We just looked at some of the highlights. So no, I did not listen to the entire 23-minute court, her testimony, because the judge has ruled it illegal for people to listen to, unfortunately. And I don't want to you know, get sued for doing that.
And immediately began work on her 7th studio album, Femme Fatale. Several producers who Brittney had worked with in the past began hinting to the press in August of 2010 about recording with Brittney. A producer named Darkchild being one of the first, saying, "Brittney's fans are going to be so happy in a few weeks. In a minute, I'm going to play some music that I think is the bomb for Brittney." Danja, her collaborator on Blackout and Circus, teased Brittney's new music as well.
We're getting things together. I've been actually doing tracks that I love, and I can't wait till we go into full production mode, but more so pre-production than anything.
So do you have any idea what direction it's going to be? Is it going to be, you know, the club stuff? Is it going to be, where are you going with it?
You know, we can start one way and then end up, you know, a totally different way. I really don't know. I'm definitely going to do my part and try to make it hard-hitting, up-tempo, high energy. That's what I think we need, and that's what I'm shooting for.
She's one of the biggest stars in the world, but what's it like to work with her in the studio?
Man, it's so easy and fun, and it's one of the easiest, probably the easiest sessions I've had in my career, so I'm looking forward to getting back in.
Fans were getting extremely hyped at this point, as Brittney had been releasing era after era for the past 3 years, and they were about to get another album. However, just 2 days later, all buzz for the album is killed off by Brittney's team, with a seemingly threatening statement from Adam Lieber saying, "No new music news right now. Wish people wouldn't mislead you guys with BS info. Not cool. P.S. The guys that are working on Britt's next album are not talking about it." And with that, everything went silent for the month of August. However, Brittney was still working, as the next month she was featured on an episode of Glee. But with that high came a major low, as on September 30th, Brittney got the news from the judge that Andrew Wallet and Jamie Spears, her father, would remain her conservators and would continue to have full control of her finances and personal life. During the Circus era, Brittney held out hope. However, all hope was gone. Brittney officially had no control. However, her lawyers did give the great news to the courts, saying her mental health had improved dramatically. And interestingly enough, the press began releasing tons of articles featuring photos of Brittney smiling and being happy, some even promoting her clothing line at Kohl's. However, Brittney was not happy. Photos of her crying later surfaced from the same day, and the public got a glimpse into how Brittney really felt. The facade that Brittney's team had created had its first crack since For the Record airing, and this was the first of many glimpses into Brittney's reality that we saw during the Femme Fatale era. But like clockwork, Brittney's team shifted the focus off of the conservatorship and changed their tune about Femme Fatale, as just 1 day later, Adam Lieber officially confirmed there is a new album in the works, and that her upcoming album would be a departure from what you've heard.
Okay, dude, some of this Stan shit is like, it's just like too much. Like, these details are like, they're getting, I'm starting to get annoyed with the, it's just like, I'm skipping, yeah. Why skip? It's way too much, dude. I'm getting a fucking headache, like, just stick to the issues. Like, there's albums coming out, she's crying.
He went on to say the statements attributed to Jason Alexander are a complete fabrication, as Brittney has not had any form of communication with Mr. Alexander in years. They also called out the tabloids for being irresponsible. He reported the same day Brittney was seen showing up to William Morris Endeavor Agency with Jason Trawick and presumably her management team about taking said legal action. And the next day on her birthday, the verified Brittney Spears Twitter account tweeted out saying, "I'm almost done with my new album, and it will be coming out this March."
I think the reason why they're hyper focusing on the album is because, like, this is made by stans, so they're like, they care about that more, whereas I only care about the conservatorship, and I don't want to, I don't care about, like, her albums and all this other stuff that's going on behind the scenes. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, go tell your mom you love her. You shouldn't wait for me to read it for you to say that. Yeah, so they're using the album. They're like pushing her to work. More album, more shows, more money. I got that. I just like I wanna see a conclusion. I wanna see like a
I'll be performing for the first time ever in a special concert in San Francisco's historic Castro District on Good Morning America. And I promise you, it'll be a morning to remember. See you soon.
She was recording the Till the World Ends music video, releasing and promoting the new album, and recording a short interview about the album for MTV. However, this interview would be much less personal than For the Record, as I Am Femme Fatale was centered around Brittney recording the music video for Till the World Ends and preparing for her first big televised performance promoting Femme Fatale. In an effort to illustrate how hard Brittney worked on these music video sets, her team unknowingly exposed themselves for showing how hard they push and control every aspect of Brittney's life and career.
You know, can we wrap this thing up? We're gonna go for 10 minutes and done? Okay, sorry. You have 10 minutes and you're done. I wanna go in there, it's too f***ing hot. It's disgusting.
The set was a little much. We filmed most of this video in an underground meat plant. It's just like grimy and it was gross and it felt like there was like poop everywhere when there really wasn't. It was just sweat and it was just disgusting sometimes.
When I Am Femme Fatale aired on MTV, you see a very well put together Brittney, someone who had been pushed by her team, betrayed by her friends, released 4 fragrances, 3 major projects, and nearly 100 shows in the past 3 years. Earning money she couldn't even control herself, putting on an amazing show. The Femme Fatale press tour also served as a very enlightening era regarding the little to no freedom Brittney had to speak her mind. As the process to be able to interview Brittney was extensive. Carson Daly revealed this on Twitter when he came for Brittney's team, saying, "I was just told my Brittney Spears interview tomorrow on AMP Radio must be pre-recorded and submitted for approval by her management before it can air. F that. Never that restricted. Even when I interviewed Michael Jackson, it wasn't anything like this. It's really insane." Someone called him unprofessional, and Carson responded saying, "I'm unprofessional, faking an entire interview? Just shocked management won't let her do a normal interview. She probably doesn't even know," stating this had nothing to do with her, just her people. This press tour was a large indicator for where Brittney was in her life. So much so that Sam Lutfi used it as evidence for Brittney to testify in his case against her conservatorship. Sam had continually fought for Brittney to testify in his case. However, Brittney's parents had successfully blocked this, deeming her mentally incapable of testifying in the past. However, Sam asked the judge to order a psychiatric evaluation on Brittney to prove that she was capable of testifying, and even ordered his own psychiatric evaluation of the Femme Fatale press tour from the UCLA assistant professor of psychiatry, Joshua Pretsky. Joshua is quoted saying, "In the Ryan Seacrest interview, Brittney Spears is interviewed at length, and she responds logically and coherently to questions, evidencing logical."
This is the thing that I don't understand. It's not like she's not in front of the fucking camera. This doesn't mean anything, by the way. It doesn't matter. Like, you actually, it's kind of wild that a fucking psychiatrist, a professor of psychiatry nonetheless, would openly state a medical a medical opinion like this without actually fucking diagnosing the person, like off of a interview that could be edited. Like, you have no idea. That's wild. So that's number one. So I don't know how this doctor just said this shit. Okay, so that's one. Two, you mean a doctor? It doesn't matter that they're a fucking doctor, dude. You can't. Have you met fucking psychiatrists? Like, you're not allowed to do that. Anyway, regardless, in the interview, he's saying he's evaluating the interview, but here's the thing that I was going to say, though. He's not wrong. And what I mean by that is it's insane to me that it's insane to me that this person has been in front of the cameras, like, very clearly demonstrating competency, very clearly, like, traveling. It's not like she's behind the scenes. She's, like, hidden. She's on camera. She's doing interviews. And yet, like, her fucking team of lawyers are still considering her to be medically unable to take care of herself. And that makes no sense.
Thinking and mental competency. The edited interviews in the MTV video documentary also evidence coherent and logical thinking, responsiveness to questions, and mental competence. In my opinion, there is good cause to conduct an independent medical examination to investigate the conservator's claim
he's right.
that Ms. Spears is not mentally capable of testifying, and the claim that she was not mentally competent to enter into a binding contract. This wasn't the only lawsuit that cited the femme fatale era for Brittney's competency, therefore her ability to testify, as Brittney's team often used the probate court to avoid situations where Brittney would need to testify. An ongoing case against Brittney's conservatorship and management for a fragrance deal with Brandsense and Elizabeth Arden had also used this reasoning. Brandsense said that they had set Brittney up with Elizabeth Arden, the company distributing her perfume, and were contracted to get a 35% cut of the profits. In that suit, Brandsense alleged that Lou Taylor and Jamie Spears intentionally went behind their back and entered into a secret deal with Elizabeth Arden, essentially cutting them out of the deal. Forbes reported that because Brittney had been declared mentally incompetent, which justified the conservatorship, her father and their attorney were able to keep Brittney from being questioned under oath in a deposition for the lawsuit. However, Brandsense fought against this claim, stating in this court document Brandsense intends to seek immediate relief from the probate court's order. The notion that Brittney Spears is mentally or emotionally unfit to testify under oath is a sham. Ms. Spears currently has the mental, emotional, and physical capacity to endure the strain of a months-long international concert tour, make numerous public appearances, engage in interviews with the media.
I mean, they're saying the same shit because it makes no sense.
In numerous promotional campaigns for her various business enterprises and maintain custody of her children. Deeming Brittney competent threatens the mere existence of the conservatorship and would essentially put Brittney back in control to hire whomever she wanted. So instead of fighting this in court, Brittney's conservatorship agreed to settle and allegedly paid Brandsense what they were asking for. This was already shaping up to be an extremely impactful era for Brittney. When asked about the goal of femme fatale, Larry Rudolph explained, "I want them to know, when the fans watch this, I want them to know that Brittney is back and better than ever. Not that she's ever gone anywhere, but she's back and she's better than ever." Brittney seemed to be nothing more than a product to her team, like they were marketing a new iPhone. With every era for the past 3 albums, it was always declared that Brittney was back, even though she had never taken more than 3 years in between each album. On March 25th, Brittney released her highly anticipated 7th album, and it was very different for the time. It incorporated elements of dubstep, pop, and it had the electro sounds that will.i.am brought to tracks like Big Fat Bass, but also the pop sound that Dr. Luke and Max Martin specialized in. Now, most of the aforementioned people were thanked in the booklet that came with the album. She started off thanking God and then got into warm thank yous to the team around her. But towards the end of her thank you letter, things went cold, as Brittney separated the thank yous, saying professional thank yous go out to Ken Hertz, Seth Lichtenstein, and Tom Hansen for making sure everything is legal, and to Lou Taylor,
there we go,
Lou Taylor, Robin Greenhill, and TriStar for counting my pennies. At this point, Lou Taylor had weaseled her way into every member of the Spears family's lives. A woman who Brittney originally labeled a stalker was now Brittney's business manager. Subsequently, the last of Brittney's charity, the Brittney Spears Foundation's funds were allegedly donated to 2 different charities, one of them being Mercy Ministries, an organization supported by Lou's husband's church, as reported by Roger Friedman of Showbiz 411. If you go to the website of Calvary Chapel, the church that Lou Taylor's husband is a pastor over, and go to their missions ministries, Mercy Multiplied, formerly Mercy Ministries, is the first organization on the list. Their website states Mercy Multiplied serves young women who face a combination of life-controlling issues such as eating disorders, drug and alcohol addiction, depression, and unplanned pregnancy. Mercy also serves young women who have been physically and abused, including victims of trafficking. However, a simple Google search will reveal everything you need to know about Mercy Ministries, as several women came forward in 2008 and shared their horrific stories with the Sydney Morning Herald. Nancy Alcorn, the founder and president of Mercy Ministries, is quoted saying, "We deal with areas of demonic oppression. If there's demonic activity, like if somebody's opened themselves up to the spirit of lust through or lots of promiscuous activity or something like that, then we've opened the door for demonic powers, and secular psychiatrists want to medicate things like that. But Jesus did not say to medicate a demon. He said to cast them out." And that's...
Are you fucking joking, dude? Wait.
Normal Christianity.
Hold on. What the fuck? What is happening to my fucking computer? I'm trying to fucking type on the other... I'm literally trying to type on the other...
Instead of
on the other page, and it's like literally clicking back into the main page for some fucking weird reason. This has been happening, like, it's happened a couple times in the past, like, week. Fucking Windows, fix your shit, dude. Wait, I need to see what this guy was talking about, the news articles he's talking about. I'm getting fucking annoyed. Bro, I will never cover furry related news, okay? You need to just take a fucking day off. Stop spamming cover furry related news. I think it's from your Google Captions thing. When the caption window expires, it refocuses your cursor on the window. Yeah. These young women enrolled in an influential Christian counseling center for help. That's not what they found. Mercy Ministries, a network of inpatient facilities that treat young women with mental illness. Yo, this is sus as fuck. So this woman's husband is a pastor. This woman's husband is a pastor at this, like, very weird ministry that it preaches, like, religion over over medical treatments and psychiatry. I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind, dude. How deep does this goddamn rabbit hole go? What is it called now? Mercy Ministries turned into what? Mercy Homes? Mercy Senior Living Community aims to innovate dementia care. Mercy Multiplied. This is really common in the mental health industry. Any private business can get away with abuse, especially if they're religious. Dude, what the fuck? Just change your name and then move on, you know? Yeah, they do residential counseling and outreach services. They're a nonprofit Christian organization. What? Women of Influence, Nancy Alcorn of Mercy Multiplied. It sounds like the same as a parasocial and abuse school thing, except not explicitly synonymous. Dude, okay, I'm just running the fucking ad. You guys are so annoying. Here, like, here's the ad, okay? God damn. Please stop fucking crying about, like, me preemptively running an ad, okay?
Blast through.
Here, I ran it. Just stop fucking crying.
US activity or something like that, then we've opened the door for demonic powers, and secular psychiatrists want to medicate things like that. But Jesus did not say to medicate a demon. He said to cast them out. And that's supposed to be a part of normal Christianity. Instead of funding children's passion for the performing arts, the money was now going towards Mercy Multiplied. In a March video posted to her website, Brittney teased that the Femme Fatale tour was going to be her best tour yet. And with Rihanna's remix of S&M featuring Brittney going #1, Brittney tirelessly rehearsing with Nicki Minaj as her opening act, she was ready to hit the road.
So now, we can't wait for the tour. So come on, what can we expect?
There's a lot of surprises in the show. I think the show is just more me than any show I've ever done. It's a lot of fun.
Have you actually missed being on the road?
Yes, I have actually. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life, definitely. It can be kind of grueling sometimes, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun. You know, you're somewhere different every day and you never know what to expect, and it's a lot of fun.
Kind of like a gypsy, you just...
Yeah.
I actually got to sit in the rehearsals, see the whole of the tour being rehearsed in this massive soundstage.
Brittney would grace the stage performing nearly 22 songs in 5 different sections themed around powerful women throughout the ages. And to say the stage was elaborate is an understatement. The show was extremely high production.
Okay, dude, like, goddamn, like, the fandom just, like, jumps out aggressively. Get back to the weird shit.
This tour, which was good.
Okay, fires down.
This is all she ever had in her life. Thus, the tour came to a close. Brittney's boyfriend, Jason Trawick, proposed. And thus, she was now an engaged mother, working harder than she ever had in her life. The Femme Fatale era was a great success, and still has a lasting impact to this day, as TikTok picked the song back up in early 2020 and pushed it to be one of her most liked music videos on YouTube of all time. As 2011 came to a close, reflecting back, Brittney worked the entire year and powered through some really tough times, and 2012 would hold major events for Brittney.
As 2012 began, rumors were swirling about who would judge the next season of Simon Cowell's hit show, The X Factor. After leaving American Idol the previous year, Simon brought his wildly popular UK singing competition show to the US, and it was a major success. And with Paula Abdul and Nicole Scherzinger absent from the panel, Simon was on the search for the next major judge that would serve this next season. However, this wasn't an easy task, as being an X Factor judge wasn't just laughing at bad contestants and passing people through the rounds. X Factor judges were mentors to their groups and had to coach them vocally through each round. It didn't just take an eye for talent. You needed to care about your contestants. Not to mention, in the early 2010s, singing competition shows were all the rage, and The Voice, American Idol, and the X Factor. Later, they were her #1 priority. At this point,
Jason Trawick, who is the fiance of Brittney Spears, his application to become Brittney's co-conservator.
But not in managing her assets. That is overseen between her father and another.
Bro, what the fuck is going on? Like, literally everyone that is around this person's life tries to, like, control her life.
Attorney. This new decision now means that the pop star's father and fiance will have legal control over her general well-being.
Gerald S. Cohen, a probate attorney of Jamie Spears, was quoted saying, "This is a very unusual situation because generally you don't see conservatees get married." Keep in mind, this is before the X Factor deal that Jason was heavily involved in was official, as nothing had been announced yet. Towards April's end, Jason was granted the role of co-conservator to manage Brittney's personal affairs. Jason Trawick would be around Brittney 24/7, having full control over her day-to-day life. Daily Mail even reported that Jason and Jamie would work together to restrict Brittney's internet access, and that she would have to use Jason's phone if she needed to make a phone call or send a text message so he could monitor her calls. This is again something very unusual with a probate conservatorship, as the rights to receive visitors, telephone calls, and personal mail are classified as a personal right under California law, but in rare instances these personal rights can be limited by a court order. Robinson and Henry PC wrote in an article about conservator abuse, "Be wary if there are sudden limitations on contact or personal access to your loved ones. A crooked conservator won't want family members to know what they are up to, and they often arrange for the conservatee's isolation to prevent interference. Watch the people involved with the conservatee's case. New attorneys, caregivers, accountants, or helpers are often colluding with the abusing conservator." A man who was accused of putting Brittney in harm's way was now working with her father, helping to call the shots. A few weeks after Jason took control and months of speculation about whether Brittney would be joining the X Factor panel, it was officially announced that Brittney Spears would be joining the show for its second season, and that same month, the auditions process in front of the judges began. This portion of the season was pre-recorded and filmed through July, scouting all the talent that 5 major cities had to offer. And after filming, Judge Goats wanted to see, citing that Brittney wasn't mentally competent to testify as a witness. However, Sam Lutfi told media outlets that if Brittney Spears can pull in $15 million to judge X Factor, she sure as hell is competent enough to testify in court, and it allegedly even included a DVD of Brittney on the X Factor to show that she was in fact competent. However, Judge Goats later ruled that putting Brittney on the stand would cause her irreparable harm and immediate danger. And Jason
Why? Yo, what the fuck is up with this judge? Why?
would testify instead. The same team and judge that both signed off saying Brittney was mentally competent enough to be on national live television judging different contestants in front of millions had just denied that she was competent enough to testify on her own behalf, and still ran with the notion that Brittney was unfit to have control over her own life. Something as simple as hopping in her Mercedes to get iced coffee had never been something she could easily do, as the media had taken her freedom in the past years, but now Brittney was fighting an entirely new beast: her supposed fiance, the court of law, and her own family. This wasn't just something difficult for her to do, it was something she was not allowed to do. Brittney was fighting an uphill battle, and it would only get worse. As the X Factor was gearing up to premiere, Brittney and Simon Cowell embarked on a press tour to promote the show.
I didn't know much about her, and I was fascinated when I watched the show back because there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes where I think you really get to know Brittney as a person. And she's fun, has a great sense of humor, and she's got a lot to say about the contestants. But the best thing for me is that she actually cares about the talent, and I think is going to be a great mentor.
Well, thank you, Simon.
But it's true, and I think it's
very nice.
You're a great inspiration for them.
Well, thank you. They were inspiring themselves.
And as the X Factor premiered, Brittney was the star of the show. She developed a friendship with fellow judge Demi Lovato and was critical but fair. Multiple contestants auditioning had storylines revolving around Brittney.
As soon as I heard that Brittney was going to be
So the thing that like annoys me about these parts of the video, like, is this shit. Like, this stuff is not necessary. I want to get to the meat and the bones of the fucking issue, right? And this is like all potato, okay? I want the meat. I don't want the fucking potato. That's why I keep skipping chat, okay? It's like not relevant to me or anyone that wants to learn more about like what's going on in a fucking 1 hour and 30-minute video. I mean, this is for fans, like, and it's great. But like there's storylines that like revolve around Brittney Spears and how great she's doing and whatever. It's like,
I had an incredible time doing the show and to the studio. Can't wait.
That big breakup for
To now executive producer of the X Factor, Jason Trawick, was called off.
that big breakup for the singer Brittney Spears, the superstar, and her fiance Jason Trawick calling off their engagement just a little over a year after he popped the question.
Jason and Brittney have been having their issues for several months, but they put on a good front.
Trawick is no longer Spears' co-conservator. He once controlled everything from her finances to her food to her clothing.
He immediately resigned as co-conservator, with sources saying that he was only added to the conservatorship during her time on X Factor so he could keep tabs on Brittney while she was on set. Brittney Spears had made a major impact on pop culture, music, and the way the media treats people today. But as she headed into the biggest project of her career, things took a much more public turn. Brittney had spoken her truth in private to her team multiple times, and in return, she was stripped of her basic human rights. And her truth was about to explode into a full-blown movement. And no one was prepared for the bombshells that were about to be dropped.
All of you who are concerned about me, all is well. My family has been going through a lot of stress and anxiety lately, so I just needed time to deal. But don't worry, I'll be back very soon.
And people were saying that, like, if you're, you know, the Free Brittney movement and social media here actually fucking came in the clutch. And they were tracking her movement and even went on to like write in the comments, like, if you see this comment and if you're in a you know, if you're being held against your will or anything like that, wear a yellow shirt in your next video. And then she literally wore a yellow shirt in the next video. Like, this is where I come in. This is where I started. It was a lie, Sag? What do you mean? What the fuck is this? Is it like the Free Britney shit? What the fuck? Hashtag all eyes on Britney.
Up a 2-year residency at the Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas.
By the way, this was literally facilitated by that lady, the power broker, who is married, Lou Taylor, who's like a Hollywood power broker, who's married to the guy who is a pastor at Mercy Hill or whatever the fuck, Mercy Multiplied now, who has a very questionable beliefs. They're like, they believe in, using the power of the Bible to solve problems. It's really fucking weird shit. Like, it gets way, way weirder. It gets way, way, way weirder after this.
She's been the princess of pop for nearly 20 years.
Brittney is no stranger to making headlines, but now her father Jamie is sounding off about that hashtag Free Britney.
Okay. This is the Free Britney shit, right? This is like...
She'll be taking up a
I'm gonna skip
2-year
through this as well. I just